Welcome back, boys and girls, to another episode of the Jamesay Wamesay Show. First of all, what's going on in my life? Well, right now I'm actually doing a commission for somebody who donated to the Comic Verse crowdfunder, which was run on a Kickstarter by Steve Peters and Bianca Alumar. So he wants Farmbot, which is this character here. You see that there? I'll try and get closer there. All right, now that this is an obscure character from the comic verse, and I'm gonna do my darndest. But after I'm done, I'm gonna send that off to Steve, and we'll see what he does. He might sign it, he might not, and maybe he'll add a little sketch. We'll see what happens. Now, second, while I have my phone up here, I was talking to somebody yesterday. Let me see if I can find this real quick. No, not on that screen. Okay, here we go. This is from John Heater. He is actually looking for this original artwork just to find who it was. This is an unsigned painting. This is something from his childhood, okay? And if anyone out there knows who this is, just get back to me. Even if you just have a hint, I'll look into it and see the validity of who you think it is, okay? Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Now, let me jump into reviewing my friends' work. The first thing I have is the Book of Ballads and Sagas. This is by Charles Vess. Now, Charles Vess, I do not actually consider a friend. I did meet him once at Baltimore Comic Con. He was super nice, very approachable, really nice to me and my sister, who's not really into comics very much, if at all. I don't think she's really a comic book person at all. But she did actually buy one of his prints and gave it to our cousin Riley as a Christmas present. So and she's kind of like a hippie stoner girl. She's maybe 26, 27 years old. Really nice kid. Now the reason I show you the book of ballads and sagas is this story here is actually written by Rob Walton, who I do consider a friend. He's contributed to my book in the past. He did the Cactus Galactus piece, which I think a lot of you know and I've had a good laugh at. And this is where it all started. Skate was supposed to be by Charles Vess and written, of course, by Rob Walton. But eventually, I think it kind of fizzled out, and their careers took opposite directions. Now, Charles still does the covers to the actual traditional books, but they're like I said, they're traditional books. They're not like a comic book at all. But that's kind of cool though. I do recommend the series. They have 4 books. I believe the fourth one either just came out or is about to come out. So keep your eyes open for that. You can find those on Amazon. All right, now let me go to another of my friends. This is by Tony McMillan. Okay, this is called Attaboy. You may have seen this a couple years ago. This is all over the place. It got a lot of media attention, and it's a really good book. Now I'm going to open it up to a random page. Just keep in mind this was supposed to be a fake video game manual. Okay, what am I looking at here? This is more of a 2-page spread, so you don't really get that aspect of it. But this turned out to be very autobiographical and talked a lot about his childhood and his relationship to his family and to video games. Um, this gives a bit of the repetitious feeling over here. You guys see this page over here? You know that has that video game vibe in my opinion. There are better examples. Look this book up. It's really good. He also does a series called Serious Creatures, and he's done a Friday the 13th comic that he gives away for free to anybody who had commissioned art from him. He might have sold out by now, but it doesn't hurt to approach him. He's a really great artist, as you can see, and you can. I own several of his pieces actually, and you can too. All right, now last of those books, this this is called Matty Kettle, and this is by Eric Orchard, or perhaps it's Orchard. Okay, and this is more of a comic book, yet drawn in a children's book style. And I believe he might be transitioning at this point into doing a children's book rather than a comic book. He's met with a lot of the same frustrations a lot of us meet with in the comic world. So I think he may want to approach that. You see what I mean with the children's book thing? Like, you can kind of look at these and say, I could see that, like, in a children's book. So, yeah, I recommend Eric's stuff very much. Like, he's really, really talented guy, and I love everything he posts on his Facebook account and on his Instagram. So I'm going to put these over on the side. All right, now I'm going to transition to my other books by people that I don't know. Okay, as you know, I like to show off some of the rarer books in my collection, and I figured what better way to start than with Rubber Blanket. These are by David Mazzucchelli. These are really, really good, very obscure. Oh, my stash is falling off a bit. Let me adjust that. Okay, as you can see, well, the mustache is getting in my mouth. This may have been a bad idea. But as you can see, his work is very abstract in here. This is the same guy that did Batman Year One and did Daredevil Born Again. This is with Lewis Richmond, I believe. Richmond Lewis is his wife's name. Here's another page. It looks very, very similar to that page. Let me show you the front and back together here. And it says she felt much better after cutting out all the parts she didn't like. I think there's truth to those words. Oh, I'm gonna put the mustache on my forehead. There you go. Um, yeah, the first issue is very good. These go for like $100 now. I got the first issue when it was still like in stores. Like I had my friend James Hudson. He that's the same name as the Guardian from Alpha Flight, but that's actually his real name. But this book, he got off the shelf right away, and he passed me on this, and he got me turned on to like Milk and Cheese and like Mad Men. I think he even turned me on to The Spear by Will Eisner. I hadn't seen his work before, but he gave me a little paperback that had like I think three of his stories put in there, in a little like it cut up little sections. Like they didn't really follow the page layouts, but you got the Eisner effect still. So they were really awesome. Now next is actually Rubber Blanket number 3. This one is a little rare, but number 2 is the prize pony. I can't find that anywhere, but I did find it online, and I did read it, and I think it's my least favorite issue. But here's a page from this one. I think this is a lot more traditional than issue number 1 was. This has Big Man, I believe it's called, which is a very, very good story. I hope it gets reprinted someday so you can all check it out. Here's the titular Big Man over here. Can you guys see that? All right. And that story goes on quite a bit there. I believe this was reprinted in an Italian novella. So you can always check that out that way, but you're not going to get the words unless you speak Italian. All right, and next, hold on a second. We do have more books. We actually have some sketchbooks over here. Now you remember I was talking about the Tundra sketchbook series, and these are all really beautiful. This is the volume 8, and this is Tom Kidd. Tom Kidd, I don't think he ever had this book published. But here's some of his design work from the series. I think Tundra ended before the actual book was published. Now, one of the things that you get here there are a few notes, but like I said before, Charles Vess probably had the best one of the bunch. He had tons of notes and had a lot to say. Speaking of which, here's Charles Vess. Now let's see here. Of course, I turned to a page with no notes. Oh, here we go. Check that out. Very good stuff. Then we have, well, that was volume 5. Here's volume 4, and this is Rick Bryant. There you go. I always find the red very striking in these pictures. Here's the back cover. All right, now let me flip through here. He's really good at these black and white portraits. I highly recommend these. These are kind of forgotten about. You can find them on eBay for pretty cheap. All right, then we have Noodles. Now this is by Mike Zeb. I'm actually friends with his widow. She's a really cool lady. So let's see what we got in here. Now this I probably had the longest. So I really need to sit down and read this again. It's been a really long time. I got this at an antique store in Adamstown, which is the antique store capital of America. Like in the 80s, they found an original draft of the Declaration of Independence behind some crappy old painting in one of the crappiest shops, I'd say, which is Renninger's. I don't really care for that place, but yeah, they had that, and it caused kind of a gold rush that still goes on today. But as my friend Mark Wheatley pointed out, all the treasure that you're gonna find is not in this area, as opposed to like maybe Ohio or maybe in a shop in Kansas, because that stuff's gonna be rarer. There's gonna be less foot traffic, and people finding like really cool stuff. All right, now next is let me see. Here we go. Next is Forg. This is volume 8 of the sketchbook series. Now, Forg, I believe he developed the Tundra logo, as you see here. Otherwise, why would they have that on the cover, really? Now, this has a color section in it. Let me hold this better. Come in a little closer so you can see it better. And here's the back. Now, when you look at some of his black and white stuff, I actually think of the Hernandez brothers. Let me see if I can find an example. Well, on this page is making me think a bit of Mobius, to be honest. But let's see if I can get on the next page. Okay. Like, these seem like more domestic moments that I find here, which I kind of associate with Jaime Hernandez. But maybe that's just me, but that's the vibe I get. All right. Then last, we're going to wrap it up with Jeffrey Catherine Jones. Jeffrey Catherine Jones is one of my idols. This is actually my favorite book in my entire collection. When I had my first stroke, I lost my job at Walmart, and in my locker was a soft cover of this book. This is the hardcover, and this was out of print, and I couldn't find a copy less than like 75, 80 bucks for like years. And then all of a sudden, I just signed on to like Amazon and looked at the used books, and I found a copy for $10. And all of a sudden, I just kept finding copies for really, really cheap. Now, let me turn to a gray page here. Okay, here's some life studies here. Cool stuff. Now, my favorite part of this is actually the interview. It's actually conducted by George Pratt and a couple other people. But George was one of his students, I believe. Or his or her students. No offense intended, of course. But they talk about all sorts of stuff that only artists ever really talk about. And they have some really fascinating stuff to say. Now, if you can actually find a copy of this, you look for it to be cheap. Don't just jump at the first copy that you find, and see if you agree with me about it being a really, really good book. Speaking of really good books and Jeffrey Catherine Jones, this was one of the Kickstarter rewards. I think it was on Kickstarter. I know it was a crowdfunded source of some sort. This book actually came to people that ordered the books, ordered the DVD that was about Jones and her transition, and basically her history. Now, first I'm going to take off Hold on a second. It'll be easier if I just pause it. It has a cool, funky design, but it does have a banner wrapped around it. Now, it comes with, see on there it says Jones. I think you can probably see that up here better. Or maybe against my white shirt. Okay, now let me show you what this book entails. This is actually not a collection of Jones's artwork. This is actually pieces that were donated to basically help the crowdfunder. We got like Sean Smith and we got Michael Kaluta. And we got, okay, Rick Barry. Everyone I think knows Rick Barry. Great stuff. I love his abstract style. All right, this is Will Simpson. He's a really nice guy. I've met him a couple times online, and we've talked briefly. Look, I wouldn't put him in the friend category because we've only talked briefly, but here you go. And let's see. All right, everyone knows Jock. I don't know Dom Reardon, but these are really awesome pictures, and I believe that's a portrait of Jeffrey Catherine Jones there, done by Dom. Yeah. All right, let's see what else. One last flip, or maybe another, or maybe another. Okay, I've never heard of these people. This is Puppeteer Lee and Brian Despain, but they're really good pieces, and I'm really proud to have this on my bookshelf. I found this on eBay like years after the campaign. Somebody had this up for sale, and as I was searching for the other Jones book, this came up, and I had never seen this before, so I really wanted to check this out. And check it out, I did. And there you have it. Thanks for checking us out, and thanks for the luchadores that stopped by and helped us out today, and that strange mustachioed fellow. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to make cameos in this video. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all now. Actually, I'll see you on Monday. I'll probably have the weekend off. Take care.